Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's WK Dad here. Talk to you guys about problem cards in the meta right now. Um, Everybody's putting their own 2 cents about upcoming ban lists. Um, I don't know so much of these are my predictions, but listed here are cards that I feel are a problem, and mainly with the top three decks. You got Draco and Pals, Cosmo, and Monarchs. Of course, there's other decks that are just as competitive, but for the most part, they're fair. You know what I'm saying? They don't do a whole lot of unfair things in comparison to these three decks. Of course, Burning Abyss is still a powerful deck, and some of the other decks they kind of escape my mind right offhand. But they're still pretty powerful decks. But I feel that these 8 cards here, or maybe less, these six cards, 7 cards here, need to be addressed. So I'll start off with Draco and Pals. I think the deck by itself is fine. It does a lot of unfair things, but the reason why it can get away with a lot of unfair things is because of Ignister Prominence. The card nets you advantage right when it hits the board, because generally he says when I hit the board, flip Solemn Warning, flip whatever, answer me right now. You must answer me right now, or you're going to get your field broken. And his effect doesn't target, he gets to field or graveyard. No, well, not the graveyard, but he hits the field. I'm thinking of Cosmo Joe. My bad. But he hits the field, spins any card, and then you bring out another one and summon a monster from the deck, a Draco Slayer monster from the deck, and spin another card, and that's over the top. Yeah, I just don't think that it deserves to be a two. And again, another reason why the deck is super unfair is Draco Face Off. I wouldn't outright ban it. I think it's a pretty cool card. It can be used. People don't generally use it defensively, but you can. You can. I don't know. I never really read the whole thing, but I guess you can activate it offensively too. Get in that last bit of damage. I've never seen it used that way, but looks like you can. It doesn't say you have to have an empty field to use it. So I imagine there might be a niche situation where you can activate it during the battle phase, get that last 1850, 1950 damage in. But again, these two cards contribute to that deck being extremely, extremely unfair. Cosmo. Again, the deck is powerful. The deck is fast. The deck is really good. My main problem with the deck is that they made the big ships untargetable. You can't target the big ships, and for the life of me, I don't understand why. The deck would have been perfectly fine if you could target the ships. You know what I mean? You can't even target with monster, or let's say they couldn't be targeted by monster effects, or they couldn't be targeted by spell and trap effects. But the fact that they can't be targeted by card effects at all, by opponents' card effects, that just, again, it rises to the level of unfairness. And to be when your opponent combos on you with multiple Dark Destroyers in a turn, or turn after turn, in conjunction with Call of the Haunteds and whatnot, it leads to some pretty absurd game states, with your opponent ending on Tin Man and Straw Man, and then using their field spell Cosmo Town to recycle it back, and recycle the Dark Destroyer back, and then ready to rip your field apart again. Interrupt your plays, that kind of thing. I'm perfectly fine with the 2800 guy and Dark Eclipser. Because at least with Dark Eclipser, he doesn't tutor a monster to the field. It's a big dude, and I feel that that's what Dark Destroyer should have been, and Dark Eclipser could have been something else. But the fact that they tutor a dude to the field and it can't be targeted at the same time, and they blow up a card when it hits the field, I mean, that's just too much in one card. I don't feel that Norden should be banned. I'm just going to Instant Fusion real quick because it's here. I believe that every deck should have the ability to extend its plays, and Instant Fusion into Norden allows you to do that. And Instant Fusion into other fusion monsters allows you, again, to extend plays. And it's sad that Instant Fusion has to take the hit because of Norden, but I mean, again, it's just one of those things. You ban Norden, and then you take away decks that really can't do anything. Like people are trying to experiment with Stick and Chair and Fire Fist. They don't get to their deck. Just I mean, the decks are already underpowered, but they go from underpowered to damn near unplayable without Norden, in my opinion. And just having the one instant fusion, it forces you to save that play for a pivotal moment. And I know it becomes a luck set card, kind of like Soul Charge, but you see where Soul Charge is now. It's rarely seen, rarely used, and with instant fusion one, it, in my opinion, it would probably just fall away because people may or may not want to waste deck space on that one card in the hopes that they draw that one card for that one play. So you still get to keep Norden if you want to dedicate a build somehow to fusing off one of your synchros and one of your Xyz into Norden. I mean, if that ever becomes a thing, then you still have that ability with Norden, what he was intended to do. It's just that instant fusion allows you to abuse that, and I don't think that Norden should be hit because of it. And it goes back, and then instant fusion's hit because of it. I mean, I just believe that both can exist, but I wouldn't outright ban Norden. For the Monarchs, I hit Stormforth to 2. I believe that that this is in Monarchs it's an unfair card for your opponent to be able to take out potentially off the bat 2 of their monsters with, let's say, an Erebus. You tribute one, spin the other, or with a card like Aether, where you tribute off one, then bring out another big monster, and then run the rest of their field over. Or being able to Aether on your opponent's turn. So many decks can't deal with that. But if you put Monarch Stormforth to 1, then Monarchs can become completely unplayable. And then a deck like Cosmo with their untargetable ships, they run roughshod over Monarchs. And so it's more of the give and take. It's, in my opinion, it's more like the instant fusion. One card. I mean, before the Monarch structure deck, Monarch Stormforth wasn't even a problem. Or people may have cited it. I remember they cited it in Shadal's. They used to cite it in Cosmo. They had Stormforth, and then summon one of the or Slip Rider or something or Dogfighter to clear the field or whatnot. But other than that, it wasn't like a main deck staple and contributed to a strategy of the deck. And now that it does, it's a huge problem. But putting it to 1 or outright banning it just kills Monarchs. And if you guys have ever been familiar with my channel, I just hate when they outright kill decks. It's so frustrating to invest your time and energy, develop an affinity for deck, and then Konami just outright destroys the deck. Many times they just do it for monetary value or monetary gain because they want you to move on to something else. But oftentimes, I forever love Quick Draw Dandy Warrior, and for some reason, the Bree Dragon is still at 1, Dandelion is still at 1. It's just absurd. But they don't want us to play it, so that's what they do. Next, emergency teleport. Good card, but in a deck like Cosmos allows them to get to be unfair. I believe there's new psychic support coming out, and emergency teleport could be vital to that deck. But because Cosmo exists, this becomes another unfair card. And sometimes it saddens me that Konami does things that causes this to happen. If Farm Girl had been a level 4, emergency teleport, in my opinion, would be fine at 3. You understand what I'm saying? It's because I mean, tin can generates advantage, but it's slow advantage. It's in phase. Getting out straw man, gets advantage, but that can be disrupted. But Farm Girl, she does again. It's another card that does so much. She can get your all she needs is get damage in, and she gets your whole engine going. Um, that's and then you can use in the battle phase. You can drop a Dark Destroyer, pop their monster, and then emergency teleport Farm Girl, and start causing a lot of havoc. And once again, we're back to the unfair interactions. And then finally on my list is Solemn Strike. In my opinion, it's just like Solemn Judgment. It's just like Solemn Warning. It's just like Bottomless Trap Hole. It's when the ability to just end your opponent's turn. That's powerful in Yu-Gi-Oh. And oftentimes the Solemn Strike will just end your opponent's turn. And with Ariadne and Draco Pals being able to search this card almost at will, with so many decks running triple copies of it, it just seems to me that we're back to the situation where you just stop your opponent's summon, you stop their important monster effect, and you do it turn after turn. With 2-3 turns, and even if they have multiple effects, they can try to get off in one turn, and you have two strikes set. I mean, you most times you lose right there, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's healthy, and I'd like to see that card go to one because I don't want to outright ban the card because it's a good solid card, but having multiples of it, it I don't think to be honest, I don't think the card should I don't think the card should have been printed. You know, it immediately life point costs 1,500. You can negate a special summon or monster effect. Had it been one or the other, I mean, if it, yeah, if it had been one or the other, like negate like a costed or life point costed divine wrath instead of the discard. But it's like divine wrath and horn of heaven rolled up into one. That to me that's like I said, I mean the card is really good, and that part of it and then being ran in threes to me contributes to an unhealthy game. So you guys, that's all I got to say about this. Let me know what you think. If you're interested in seeing what I would bring back from the ban list potentially, I'm open to do that. Otherwise, Snub K Dad, and I'm signing out.